Hey, everybody. Good to see you. Hope you're having a beautiful week. Hope you can hear me. Hope you can see me. And yeah, as always, so good to see some of the first folks on this YouTube Live are people that I've been working with, some of whom for years, some of whom are new folks. Shelly Markovich, great to see you. Jorge, what's up from Chicago? Jorge's from Chicago. Andre, so exciting to start working with you as well, too. You ask such amazing questions. Angela, Martha, cool. Hey, everybody. Hope you're having a sane, healthy, and happy week. I am really happy to be here again, hanging out with you. Thank you, as always, to the wonderful Backstage and the incredible team that does this and so many more things. It's amazing, some of the content that Backstage has been putting up throughout this time in general, but especially throughout this time. So thank you guys for everything. And I'm excited to do this video, how to win a series lead before it goes to casting. So super psyched. We have folks here from Dubai, which is really cool. All over the world, Miami, New Jersey, and April, Lynn Scott, great to see you as well, too. It's so fun. Sarah, great to see you from Miami. And I'm going to take a lot of questions at the end. I want to really hang out with you guys a bit today. So I'm going to go over some stuff. Those of you know, as I mention every week, I've been collaborating with Backstage for many years. And all of the articles are archived and available to read on Backstage, as are all the videos on Backstage's YouTube channel. So thank you again to Backstage. I'm Joseph Pearlman, and at my studio, Pearlman Acting Academy, we help actors launch their careers faster and reach Oscar potential on set. We believe that you can launch your career faster and with less effort when you're lit up with fun and joy. You can do a whole lot more than that as well, too. But you can launch your career faster and with less effort, for sure. And you guys, of course, if you haven't already, are invited to come watch the awesome acting transformations and breakthroughs in one of our classes, to attend a free audit if you haven't. So you can reach out to us through the website, www.josephpearlman.com, PEARLMAN.com. Go to the contact page and reach out, and our wonderful studio manager will get back to you fast with a free audit. And come and watch Celeb Act Series lead level actors, Celebrity Actors Series lead level actors getting a workout on their booked work on currently casting major film and TV auditions every week. So come and hang out. And follow us on Instagram at Joseph Pearlman to get all our free acting and career tips. So here we go. Let's dive in. How to win a series lead before it goes to casting. And I'm going to start with this. I kind of like to build these a little bit. So what is for you will not go by you. Okay. It was a beautiful thing that a mentor, Roz Clark, said to me, one of my first acting instructors in high school. I grew up in Boston. And she said, what is for you will not go by you. And I firmly believe that in this industry and in life. What is for you will not go by you. But that doesn't mean it's not your responsibility to reach out and grab it. Okay? And there's always a right way to reach out and grab it. That thing is never going to fall on your lap. So reach out and grab it. But it's nice to know that these things will sort of come by, and it's our responsibility to get it. So it holds true with regards to launching a successful acting career, and it also applies to life. So it doesn't mean that some agent or manager is magically going to bestow a career upon you. And I've mentioned this before. Stop looking for agents and managers. Be somebody, have the career, be exciting enough, because you guys are all awesome, exciting personalities. someone that an agent or a manager is going to be attracted to instead of seeking out an agent or a manager. I think the truly great agents and managers, the 1% that are able to be great strategy allies and strategy partners, want to feel like they discovered actors, want to feel like they came across actors. Hello from Boston. Yes, thank you for hanging out. I can't wait to hang with you guys. So hold on to your questions because I'm going to answer a lot of them a little bit later. Yeah. So no agent or manager will magically bestow a career upon an actor. So one of the things I talk about a lot is really just stop looking for agents and managers. It's never going to be a magic pill. There's a right way to trigger an event where agents and managers are going to be attracted to you and want to work with you. And it's your responsibility to learn how to do the heavy lifting to reach out and grab those opportunities. And as I've mentioned before, when you're great, when you're great as an actor, this is the Olympics. And someone recently asked, how do I know when I'm great as an actor? How do I know when I've reached my Olympic best? Well, you know what? It's important to have a safe space to get an acting workout every week. That community is going to give you direct feedback. But I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Great actors, you know the work is great because you feel it, not because you waste half a class watching playback of the work or someone comments to you or gives you a critique. You guys know what great acting feels like. And it feels like this, and it's binary, okay? If it's not fun, it's not working. Okay, period. Your version of fun might be cathartic, empowered, invigorated, alive. I always say, just climbed Everest. I feel like I want to die, but every pore in my body is saying F yes. So fun. 2, great acting feels effortless, easy, like you weren't doing anything. Okay. 3, great acting feels like you're having impact, affecting change, finding opportunities to surprise somebody and them feeling it. And with regards to on camera is really putting yourself in the room with someone else. So having impact. And the last thing is that great acting feels like you, like your version of it, not like you're playing yourself. It feels like you under the influence of, drunk on the work. So that's how you know you're nearing or approaching or at your Olympic best as an actor. It's very simple. And when you're great, it's possible to compete for the role, not the audition, okay? Great actors who understand high-level strategy, high-level marketing and branding, who know how to sell themselves when they pick up a phone to build relationships, compete for the role, not the audition, okay? I think far too many actors are competing just for the opportunity to audition. Well, when you're great, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be, when something that's for you, that's right, that goes by you, there's a right way to reach out, grab it, take a bite out of it. So the goal is to make getting in the room for casting the easy part. How to make getting in the room the easy part. So what do we know in the last year? At my studio, we've had over 20 actors landing series leads. Leading roles, series regular, major supporting roles this year without seeing the inside of a traditional casting office. We'll talk more about that. And again, it's not enough to simply be good. You have to be great. And when you're great, there's no rules. Okay. I've talked about this before, these mind viruses, these things, stories of suffering we tell ourselves that I have to have an agent or a manager to compete for major roles. I can't compete for a major role if I can't get an agent or a manager if I don't have a major role. If I've had no major roles, excuse me. So there's no rules. Everybody is scared. Okay, everybody is scared. We're all in the same boat with that. Oftentimes, if it's casting, if it's coming down the vent of casting and being released onto breakdowns, it can be too late to meaningfully compete for roles without strong, solid pre- and post-game strategy to stake the role, to lay claim to the role. The casting of major roles also happens at the production level, miles before it ever reaches the inside of a casting office. That also happens, just to be aware of. And remember, casting directors have these very important jobs to do, but the final selection of who gets the role is done by production, okay? So they're a part of the process as well. So background, let's some background on this. Why are some actors going out for 100 major roles a year, and other actors who are also at their Olympic level as actors, only auditioning for 0 to 7 major roles a year? The actors that come to me for the career work, we do have a program called Launch Your Career Program, where we distill value proposition and marketing and branding to learn how to pitch yourself, to build relationships with great writers and directors and producers. And why are some actors going out for everything, 100 roles a year, and other actors going out for 0 to 7? And it comes down to this. The actors that are going out for every role they're right for, up to 100 or more roles a year, someone is picking up a telephone and pitching them on the phone, okay? The actors or their reps are picking up a phone. The ability to use the phone separates the actors going out for everything versus the actors going out for nothing. And the actors typically come to work with me in session when they're not going out for any auditions, or they're not seeing any high-level, top-tier auditions. So it's the ability to pick up the phone. Now, why are certain reps, why do they not pick up the phone? Well, they never knew that they were supposed to, unfortunately. And there's a lot of fear associated with it, okay? Fear that somebody will get angry at them, but that's irrational fear. They may feel that fear, but you have to pick up the phone. The great agents and managers know that the ability to use the phone properly, as Steve Jobs says, separates the doers from the dreamers. There's a really fun video that I did with my friend Sarah Jackson, who's one of the most effective, nicest people, best managers in the industry. And it's on my YouTube channel. And it was a whole interview I did and a Q&A with the actors. And it's fascinating. Great agents and managers, you guys, make hundreds of calls for their clients. And they're lucky in the hundreds of calls they make for their clients, and 1 in 20 of those phone calls yields a high-level opportunity, audition opportunity. And then 1 in 20, say 1 in 100 auditions lands a major job. So 1 in 20 calls yields a high-level audition opportunity. And then 1 in 100 auditions at a firm yields a high-level booking. Imagine if the only strategy was just submitting yourself. It's like playing a lottery. The strategy should not be solely submitting yourself. Your strategy should also include picking up the phone, building relationships as well. So the reason why we also want to include pitching on the phone and building relationships with production companies long before it ever gets to casting is that we want to ultimately, when we come into casting, be one who is producer approved, network approved. We want to be known to the production company because we don't want to be competing for an even bigger lottery that our audition is going to be seen by producers, okay? Again, if you're at your Olympic best as an actor, you want to guarantee that your audition is going to be seen by the eyes of the production team, correct? We don't want it to be filtered out at the pre-read level. And I talked about this last week with the different styles of auditioning. Thank you guys who have watched that video. Oftentimes in a first read or a mass audition announcement breakdown, production and casting is casting like a wide net, okay? They want to know about as many actors as possible, but there already are selects before that. People that have come from casting selects, production selects, network selects. You want to be one of those actors that has been pre-selected that is definitely going to be seen by producers. Okay. So I mentioned actors are coming into the casting process production approved or network approved. So how do we do that? We need to learn how we're going to sell ourselves when we pick up the phone and pitch, or your reps pick up the phone and pitch. And how are you going to sell yourselves? And it's important to talk about that, like, the question is, it's more about what we're not going to say than what we are going to say. Remember, a quote from my friend Annie Chang, who's one of the great friend and another coach at the studio, a phenomenal actor, writer, director, producer, said, don't let your need to be liked, your need or want to be liked, get in the way of showing people who you really are or get in the way of your best work. So it's more about what you're not going to say. When you're building a new relationship, you guys, you don't want to put somebody to work. Think about it like dating. You don't want to make demands. You don't want people to feel like they're put upon. So there's a right way and a wrong way to build game-changing relationships with the major production teams that you want to collaborate with in the future. Learn how to pick up a telephone. I'll ask you guys now. I mean, the thought of picking up a telephone to pitch to major industry professionals might hurt your chest, or you might be under the influence of the mind virus that it's like, oh, I shouldn't be doing that, or I'm not supposed to do that. Or Joseph, what if they get angry? What if they get mad? Okay. As my friend Nikki Neufeld said, she's probably on here, as she has been, is don't take into a phone call the assumption of a no. Okay. You may be scared picking up a phone. You're never going to burn your hand and you're never going to catch on fire. And in fact, it takes about 10 phone calls. When I do the work with the actors, the pitch work, the phone pitch work, it takes about 10 phone calls when they have their dialogue to hit their stride. So they're getting a yes every time they pick up the phone, which is cool. Learn how to pick up the phone. If you could legitimately pick up a telephone and call the right person and say the right thing, and within 30 to 60 seconds, solidify this beautiful iron in the fire with the production team of your dreams with whom you'd like to collaborate with, you've just done in 30 to 60 seconds more than most actors will do in an entire year or year's worth of online submissions. It's possible to do that and to do that now. And imagine how that would feel at the end of the day, okay? To know how in 30 to 60 seconds to make a phone call, to get a solid iron in the fire that you're going to get to pull on for the rest of your career, to check in with the right people, to know what they're gearing up for weeks, months, years before it gets to casting. And knowing that all it took was 30 to 60 seconds, what are you waiting for? So now is the best time to reach out to people who you've always dreamed of connecting with. And if done properly, these people will be friends for life. I mean, you look at, don't think just because of the times that we're in that no one's picking up the phones. Offices might be closed. Some offices are closed. Major agency offices are closed through the end of the year. But everybody's picking up the phones. Those calls are being routed to people in their home offices. So people are starving to talk. And if done properly, these are people that are going to be allies and friends for life. People are starving for conversation with great people like you guys. So you can schedule virtual generals, okay? A virtual general meeting. I talked about this before. I said, casting directors who respect actors schedule general meetings with actors. And general meetings are not just with casting directors, it's with executive producers, writers, directors, studio heads. And it's a meeting where no acting takes place, where it's just you hanging with someone, seeing if you guys vibe, not bringing in wants, needs, or desires. And it's a lot of fun. General meetings can be a lot of fun because just from a general meeting, you could get thrown into a high-level audition or directly cast in something based on that general meeting and the strength of your personality and confidence in that meeting. So people are starving to talk. Virtual general meetings, virtual coffee. And I think for the first time in history, there are industry professionals all over the world thrilled to connect with other people via video platforms like Zoom. How do I know? We're doing it every week, almost every day. We have classes and workshops where we're bringing in hundreds of folks all over the world, writers and directors and producers and actors, and everybody wants to be a part of the process. So it's a really exciting time. One of my new friends, Emmy-winning director Scott Takeda. I recently interviewed him on the YouTube show that I host called Window to Hollywood. And Scott Takeda is a beautiful, beautiful person and phenomenal actor, writer, director. Emmy winner. And he said, there's something really exciting going on now as we're all going through this collective experience together. He said, it's like higher sort of things of higher energy are being pushed forward. There's sort of a quickening. I bet some of you are finding time to be a weirder thing these days than before. And people and ideas and things with a higher sort of energy vibration, those are the things that are really catching fire and being pushed forward. I don't know if you guys can feel that or not, but I certainly do feel it. So it's a great time right now to solidify relationships that you already have. And you want to think larger than just telling a story about yourself, okay? We are adopters, especially in this community. We, as artists, are adopters, especially in this community, and we're used to living with insecurity, etc. And one of my favorite authors, Simon Sinek, talks about there's folks that want to go back to the way things were, and they're never going to go back to the way things were. We're light years past that. The question is now, who could we be? What could we be? All right. I'm going to give you some questions in a little bit to start to think about what is the story? What is the mindset, the emotional mindset that I'm going to be in when I pick up the phone? Some of the questions that I ask in the career work. But I want to start with this. I've mentioned this before, but there are 3 things to establish before you start acting. There are 3 things that you want to establish anytime you walk into a room, whether it's a life situation or an industry situation or an audition or a class or some type of seminar or whatever it is. You want to establish that you're fun to play with. People want to know what you're going to be like to hang out with for 6 years. So don't be loaded up with your acting choice before you come into a room. You want to be someone that someone can personally like, and you want to be around people that you personally like. And there should be no desperation, zero desperation. I mentioned in a past video that one of my casting director friends, Matthew Lassell, who used to be head of CSA for some years, said that it's always so fun to meet with actors in general meetings. He can tell if they're going to be cast based on a general meeting oftentimes, which is really cool. And he said it's always so refreshing when there's no desperation, when they don't want something, where he knows that they don't need him to do something in that meeting to make their lives better. So it's always important to say this. And then with regards to your acting choices, what's happening is that the actors, the people that I work with, other actors, agents and managers, when we build relationships with writers and directors and production teams, producers, before casting, and they get to know us and become more familiar with us, and we get to become more familiar with them, we get to ask for what amounts to early access to scripts before they're ever parted into audition sides. And we're able to look at those scripts, and we're able to get excited about roles that were never given to us in a traditional audition, and then to be able to put certain roles on tape, to actually choose a scene or 2 that we would want to put on tape, maybe choose the role that we would like to play, and to be able to deliver that on a silver platter to your contact in production, like I said, miles before the traditional casting process has started. With regards to acting, I've talked about this before, this concept of the dangerous choices, how to make dangerous acting choices is a video I've done recently, and you can check it out on Backstage's YouTube channel. You want to out-danger your competition with your choices. So see that video. And remember, the toughest problems with regards to acting can't be solved in your head. They need to be discovered. So don't solve the problem of how to play her in your head. It has to be discovered out loud, okay? Through your imagination. As Stella Adler said, facts are death to an actor until fed through imagination to become experience. So the next level strategy is, of course, are you truly great? It's the Olympics, the Olympic level of the game. It's not enough to be good. You have to be great. I keep saying that because it's really important, okay? There's a lot of folks out there that want to compete for major roles, and one, they haven't taken the time they haven't put themselves in the space where they can learn to be great, and they might not truly love acting. And what is truly loving acting? Truly loving acting is some actors that I work with, one actor in particular, she describes it as like a drug. It's like getting high, like it's so fun. Another actor describes it as a joy. I'll ask you guys now, do you truly love acting? Do you truly love it? Because if you truly love it, and you can be under the influence of fun and lit up, you guys can do anything, absolutely anything. You want to, when you're great, you want to know specifically what you want. So I want you to start writing out your lists of, it's not enough to say, there's this only one role that I want and one show. It's almost like there's an infinite amount of content out there. It's not infinite, but there's like thousands of projects. All these exciting writers and directors and producers. Do you know your industry? That's the question. Do you know your industry? That doesn't mean you watch everything or you watch crap, but you should know. You should know the shows that are on the streaming platforms. You should be familiar with the broadcast network shows. If multicam is not your jam, then maybe single camera is, or maybe a hybrid is. Do you know what a hybrid is? A hybrid is, it's shot like a single cam, but the acting is multi-camera, closer to theater. So know what you want, because the fact is that the people that created the movie that you loved a couple of years ago are actually in the process. They have maybe up to 60, 80, 40, 100 projects in development right now. Wouldn't it be worth it to build a relationship with that team, okay, to get in the mix for potentially up to 100 future projects? Those people are creating other projects. So create a short list, you guys, like 7, 12, 20 projects that you're right for. Start that as the first part of your strategy. Be very clear about who you want to work with. And if you want to create your own content, great. But if you're not into creating content, don't force yourself to, okay? It should be fun. So the questions that I want you to start asking yourself, the questions that I help the act to get to how you're going to sell yourself when you pick up the phone. Some of the starting questions are these. Who are you? What do you believe? Actually say it out loud. Don't answer these in your head. Answer them out loud. It's one of the things that we don't talk about in this process in acting is that almost 100% of the work should be out loud. Your emotional words are creating your reality in this situation. So answer these questions out loud. Say, I believe, and start talking. Start to improvise. Record it. Transcribe it. Who are you? What are your core values? What gets you up in the morning? You know? And what is it about acting that you love? Like, how does it make you feel? I want to, answering these questions is going to help you to know yourself a little bit better. It's going to help you to feel more confident when you do ultimately pick up the phone. There is no one size fits all with the dialogue. Thomas's version is different than Saskia's version, is different than Jenna's version, is different than Shelly Markovich's version. And it's important to figure out the thing that helps you to know yourself in such a way that you convey it without words, just in the tone of your voice when you pick up the phone. How can you be somebody that's undeniable when you pick up the phone? The response should be, wow, cool, yes, definitely. You want to adopt the attitude that you're a colleague, that you're an equal. You guys were all in the same boat. If it's not obvious now, I don't know when it's going to be. 100% of the people that you want to work with in this industry are people, okay? And they want to work with other great people. So, yeah, the success of the phone calls and the building relationships is not so much about what you're going to say, it's how you're going to say it. How are you feeling when you pick up that phone? And the easiest way I can describe it is this, is I did a video how to teleport to an A-list career that you can watch on Backstage. And it's to go to the end, you guys. Go to the end. Go to where you want to be, okay? Feel what it would be like to have, to basically to have what that is. And whatever that is for you, figure it out. Maybe it's a certain role. Maybe it's an award. Maybe it's being at a place in your career where you're able to pick and choose the scripts. Whatever it is, what is that place? And how would you feel? And if you can really get into the feeling of that, that's one of the secrets to starting with that when you come into a room, when you come into an audition, when you walk into a virtual, and when you pitch yourself on the phone, is to feel the way you would feel if you had everything that you wanted, not the lack of that feeling. Does that make sense? And I want to share with you something. Just I always miss talking about acting stuff when I'm talking about career stuff, but I want to share a quote, a Joaquin Phoenix quote I haven't shared before, with reference to, I want you to stop needing all the answers. Stop needing all the answers in your career. Stop needing all the answers in your life. Stop needing all your answers with regards to all the stuff that's going on in the world right now. I get it. I get we want to know answers, but sometimes there's no answers to be had. And you can make yourself bloody crazy trying to know all the answers. And same with putting together winning performances. And Joaquin Phoenix talked about this, and it's in reference to the Joker role. And he said, it's not didactic. It's not telling you precisely what you should feel or when. And I think that's rare in movies. He's talking about the Joker. It's not didactic. It's not telling you precisely what you should feel or when. And I think that's rare in movies. And I think that's rare in acting, for me, Joseph, saying it personally. And Joaquin Phoenix says, it's one of the things that I liked most about the movie, The Joker, or Joker. Probably why I ultimately said yes to the movie is because I wasn't sure what I felt about him. I like that space of not being sure what I feel about a character. I'm comfortable there. I don't need all the answers. When I have the answers, I grow bored. I'm just not interested. It's just not as much fun. And this one really kept us guessing. And he says, I do a lot of preparation and then forget it. I fixated on this idea and I tried to control it. Your ego thinks you're doing something good, but you just have to go on this journey. And so until the next time we hang out, I want to encourage you guys to stop trying to control things. And actually, once you found something fun for your role, like forget it. Meryl Streep talks about this, is dropping the work before you start acting. Your acting work, your acting preparation, you're thinking about how you're going to make these phone call pitches to build relationships, to compete for roles before they get to casting. You shouldn't be thinking about that when you're on the phone. You shouldn't be thinking about this stuff when you're actually acting. It's going to pollute it, okay? You don't want your acting to reek of acting technique. You don't want your best phone call pitches to reek of trying and desperation. So I want to start to hang out with you guys a little bit, and I want to answer some questions. And again, you are all welcome, if you haven't already, to do a free audit in one of our classes, weekly classes. They're a lot of fun. The actors are working on currently casting major film and TV auditions. I'm helping them to discover their best performances. Never give them answers. Don't let anybody ever give you an answer. When somebody says, try it a little bit like this or try it a little bit like that, it potentially robs you of your best choice, the one that comes out of you when someone's pushing you. So come and hang out and watch the work. Go to my website, www.josephpearlman.com, and just fill out the contact form, and our studio manager will set you up with a free audit. And let's see. Let's take some. Yeah. Oh, Angela Romeo, thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun getting to know you and working with you. An actor should be a unique voice, not a cookie cutter or a weak version of somebody else. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's everything we're talking about. Emily Bennington, great to see you too. I feel so honored to know you guys every week, and that you guys are, keep hanging out for this. Thomas McCurdy, auditing next week. Awesome. I look forward to saying hi to you next week. Any questions, you guys? Throw some questions. Let's hang out a little bit. It's kind of a cool time now. It's like we're sort of, episodic season is creeping in. Okay. It is a time to sort of like sit back, reevaluate. I'm thinking, I keep writing these video ideas, and we'll do them. Is what do you do in your downtime? Well, the short answer is you don't make yourself crazy. There's a certain time to think about the industry, and then there's a certain time to have stupid time with your friends and turn your head off. Okay. What is let's see. Good. Hunter Gardner, absolutely agree on the feeling of desperation. Any advice on showing your experience and value without feeling like you're reading off of a resume? Desperate. Yeah, that's a great question, Hunter. Any advice on showing your experience and value? I almost feel like they should have, whoever's going to be in the room with you is going to have something of a resume, a picture, some sense, but it is important to have a couple points that naturally they will come up, a couple points, something about, what may be the most exciting or ooh la la credit, something that could be potentially valuable and exciting to somebody else. Or maybe it's a particular board position you're on, or a committee you're on, or something that you do. One of my phenomenal clients, friends, Elaine Hendricks, is a champion for animal rights. And it's like another client friend, Michael Welch, who's in the Twilight Saga, is a champion for bringing water to communities around the world that don't have clean water. It's like stuff like that. Maybe have like 3 points that you have no agenda. You don't have, it doesn't have to come up at a certain point, but bring it up in the conversation, because, at some point that person you're talking to is going to ask you about you a little bit. You can share a little bit about what you're going through, but don't walk into a conversation and just sort of roll off a whole bunch of things. Just like suss it out. It's like, I always use the examples of sort of 2 dogs sniffing each other, but just sort of like you go to the beach or a lake or something, and you just stand there and just let the waves kind of bring you into the conversation a little bit. Do you know what I'm saying? Don't push it. It's the same thing. When you're in a conversation, it's got to be fun for it to be working. You want it to feel effortless, like there's no work. You want to feel like there's impact happening, and you want it to feel completely like your version of it. Yeah, it's a great question. Hannah Houston, when starting oneself pitch on the phone, is there a technique or sweet spot to use when you don't have the credits? You do not have to have major credits to build major relationships, period. And so, like I said, 90% of what's going to make your pitch successful is your personality. Is you coming at it with the mindset that you're a colleague, that you're an equal collaborator. It takes sometimes up to 4 hours for me to craft a dialogue with an actor in the work that I do. Okay. It's not something you should just figure it out. What I'm trying to help you to do is something that's more important. If we get to work together, great. If we don't, no big deal. The most important thing is like, how you're feeling when you're making that phone call, because what you're feeling, someone else is going to feel. Remember Maya Angelou's quote, people don't remember what you do. They remember how you make them feel. And I'm probably not getting it perfect, but that's the gist of the quote. So I want you to feel confident. I want you to feel like an equal collaborator. You don't want to go into the call sort of being like a super fan, hey, I'm an actor. I'm really nervous about this conversation. Do you think it's possible? No, the call's dead in the water at that point. So you need to breathe, okay? You need to realize that you're not just trying to trick yourself into realizing you're a collaborator. If you're a great actor, you are an equal collaborator. Great casting directors. These are some of my best friends in the industry. They want to know who you are. They want to know you if you're legitimately great, if you're legitimately right for the role. Wonderful casting directors like Heidi Levitt, who's Oliver Stone's casting director, and the Oscar-winning The Artist. She's wonderful. She's a champion for actors standing up for themselves. So you really have to kind of really tell fear to F off in a way to make these phone calls. So it's okay that you don't have major credits. It's about your comfort on the phone, making those phone calls and answering the questions. What do you believe? What gets you up in the morning? What are your core values? Who are you? Great question. Let's see. Sienna, India, you don't need an agent. You can do acting without an agent. Yes, exactly. You can do everything without a rep until you find a great rep. A great rep is just a strategy partner. Find contacts by doing yes, absolutely. It's a strategy partner. The best agents and managers, it's like one thruster on a grouping of rockets. It's just like one. At no point in any actor's career, celebrity or not, will you ever have an agent manager and then you get to just sit back on a lawn chair drinking a pina colada and they do all the work. It never happens. I told you the story of Matthew McConaughey, who came to one of our bar nights and talking about still having fun hunting the roles and strategizing and putting a stake in it and laying claim to it. There's fun in it, you guys. There's a lot of fun in it. So let go of that mind virus that you need an agent or a manager. At some point, it will be useful, but the best agents and managers may only be getting 25 to 30% of what's right for you, of what's going by you. You still have to reach out and grab, the 70 or so, some odd percent that they're not. Let's see. It's a good question. Van Cooper, is it too risky to go off script during an audition for a network show? No, you don't want to go off script. I mean, no, you want to learn your lines word for word until someone says something to you that, hey, listen, you can be free with the words here. You can improvise a little bit. It's not black and white, but when you're going into like a network audition, you're going to have a writer, and I've seen it on the back end of it. A writer is going to look over at the producer or casting director and say, "That's not the line." Then that's not the line, and you'll be instantly shut out of contention because in an audition, folks are sussing out what you're going to be like on set, and if that's going to happen in an audition, then it's going to be a no-go right from the start. But sometimes you'll get permission to improvise, and then you'll improvise, and that's just as important. Your ability to shake it up a little bit. Remember, it's like really important to exercise your mouth and your mind and try many different opposite choices and not get stuck on one thing. It's going to make you more adaptable and able to go. So yes, word for word. And then another exception to this rule is, let's say you're a veteran actor. I worked with phenomenal client who's one of the best comedians in the world. She's hilarious. She's got about 5 Netflix specials, and she was given a role to play in a movie, and it was written for her by a guy who was writing stuff that he thought would be funny. And as I was working with her, she was basically changing the script and creating the lines and then passing it on to production for approval. And that's okay too. There's no black and white. But when you're first going in for a role, word for word. All right. Raymond R., what's the best way to find contact information for those producers? Getting people's information is one of the easiest things to do in the world. The hardest person to reach out to can be reached out. You can figure out their contact information in about 20 minutes or so. There's multiple sources. There's IMDb Pro. There's Google. It's like on and on and on. It's like getting that information is super, super easy. And let's see. Oh, that's cool. Lydia Lunsford, what can I do to become a better actor at home? Well, some of the best training in the world is available online with just the same as it ever was in person. So you can take whatever high quality training you want from the privacy and peace of your own home. And if you don't want to for some reason, or you can't afford to, you can find scripts that you connect with plays, currently casting audition sides. You can find pieces that are really fun for you and grab someone anywhere in the world for free and work with them on a video platform. There are many video platforms that work. I always tell the actors I work with, the first time you come in and work on it in one of our classes, the first time you work on it, you bring it in on set. The first time you bring it into a piece into an audition should never be the first time you read it out loud with another person. And there's like over 90% of the work you can do on your own. But at a certain point, this is a shared art form. Grab another person. The community members at our studio reach out to each other to work on stuff all the time, and like grab another person and just read it. It's so easy, and you can read it just like this via video. Or in person when it's safe to do that as well. So when you're working on it at home, make sure that you never solve the problem in your head. Talk it out loud. Use your out loud talking, your words, to do the work. Let's see. Oh, so many great questions, you guys. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Let's see. I'm just going to Veronica Jakubchikova. There are so many talented actors and so much competition. How to find something that makes you unique from everyone else? What makes you stand out and gives you better chance to be cast? Okay, Veronica, this is a really good question. Your secret weapon is your personality. Don't let somebody steal your watch and sell it back to you. You already have everything it takes to be a success, okay? It's clearing away the stuff that's getting in the way of that sort of light and funness of your personality. I'm not saying there's anything getting in the way, but your personality is your secret weapon. And I've written extensively on it and done a lot of videos on it. And so if you look that up, you'll find a lot of stuff I've spoken about on it. Sienna India, what's your advice for managing living with acting as a newbie? My roles have me jumping from all ends of the country. Would it be best to live in a travel van or something? LOL. No. You can activate and launch a major career from anywhere in the world, okay? You can audition for it. You can build relationships. You can take virtual general meetings. You can do pre-reads and callbacks and chemistry reads and producer sessions just like this. When it's time to shoot something, you get on a plane, they go back and forth, and you can go shoot it and go back to where you're at. So no, you don't have to be mobile. Live in Los Angeles if you love it there. I love it. I love it in LA, so I like living there. But I'm not in LA right now, and there's no difference in what I can accomplish from where I'm at here versus when I'm back in LA next week. So it doesn't matter where you are. Don't make yourself crazy. It's just have an internet connection, have a love for acting, and somewhat decent webcam so you can make a connection with people. It's really simple stuff. So let's see. I'm not going to answer any questions on how to get an agent because I've just spent the entire time talking about why you should stop looking for agents and managers. But I know I'm not going to convince you of that. But I promise you guys, please let that go. You're going to make yourself crazy because if you just start looking for agents and managers, you're going to find someone and you're going to be lulled into this false sense of security that they're somehow going to be doing something for you. 3 years are going to pass. 3 years where, like, look at the quality of the content and you're going to be missing all of these things that you thought someone was going to be grabbing for you, and they're not. You can do it on your own. And then at some point, you will have an amazing strategy partner, someone like a Sarah Jackson. You can see that interview panel I did on YouTube if you want to, on my YouTube channel. And yeah, check it out. Let's see. And that's great. Veronica, another great question. Is it useful for an actor to have other skills, for example? Yes. One of the things that's really important is if there's a platform, is there something that you do at a really high level that could make for an easier transition. It could make for a wonderful piece of conversation when you're pitching. It can make for a smoother transition into doing all the acting that you want to do, but it should be at a really high level. You know, it's like a musician. I work with a lot of folks that come from like professional wrestling, you know, the sort of professional wrestlers or singer-songwriters or professional chefs or I have a friend who's really into cars and used that to carve out a niche for himself, producing shows about cars. So if there's something that you really do at a high level, if it's just a hobby, that's great that it's a hobby, but it might not be the platform that helps you slide into doing all the acting that you want to do. Comedy is one of those things. Absolutely, absolutely. That thing, so your personality is an important centerpiece in your pitch. And also, if there's something else that you do at a really high level, like one of the great actors that we get to work with every week is Cameron, and he was a professional ballet dancer for years at a really high level. And you know, it's sort of like a hook. It's like something about you. In the acting, we find the hook. It's the hook is the thing that makes it so you don't have to act. We ask 100 questions and we find it. Think about like what a hook is for you. What's something that's going to hook into somebody's subconscious that's going to make them remember you? And other hobbies like that are just brilliant. Again, I want you guys to let go of these thought processes. Don't make things an obstacle that aren't, like living in Canada. Michael, Emily, I live in Canada. Where can I find a place where they do casting? Well, being in Canada is the same as being in LA. Casting is done from all over the place. And most of casting now is virtual. It's via video. So it's like, maybe the question is, where are all the casting jobs? I'm really asking you guys to think outside of the box here. There's a whole other level to the way this industry works. In addition to the submission-based platforms that you guys use, there's another level to the game, which is building high-level relationships with the people that actually create this stuff. And I just want to sort of expand your mind a little bit by letting you know that that's possible. It's done. It's done all the time, and it's something that a lot of folks don't know about. Let's see. All of the things that you don't know are possible, I promise you are possible, okay? Being an international actor without a visa. There are ways ultimately of procuring a visa. A production company can get you a visa. An agent or a manager can sponsor you. Some schools can sponsor actors, etc. So I would say, because you can compete for major roles anywhere in the world, I think the visa thing is definitely a concern. You do not want to get a role and not be able to work. So that's something you should be sorting out in the background, but it shouldn't be an obstacle to you pitching yourself and competing for and strategizing for major roles. But it is a definite concern, and you need to solve that problem. Let's see. Yeah, good. Cool, you guys. Listen, it's, I'm not trying to be positive here. It's like all of this stuff is possible. So I'm going to sort of stop today with this. Please come and check out the work, see what we're doing, see how safe of a community this is to actually do this work. That is really important. And please reach out, let me know. Is there anything that we as a community, is there anything that I can do for you? Is there a particular topic that you want to hear about? I have so many fun ideas, like how to launch a high-level career at any age. That's definitely on the table to do. So yeah, I'm really excited to help you guys with this. It's easier than you think. You can do anything. Launching a high-level career, you can do faster and with less effort when you're lit up with fun. So the thing I'm going to leave you with is, I don't know what it is, but find something that you can do that's going to make you feel awesome. It doesn't have anything to do with acting. And knowing that feeling awesome is directly related to you doing anything you want in this industry. And go to the end. Be very clear about what it is that you want. And then it's possible to feel that. So start to feel what that would be like. And just do that, and don't put any expectation on it. And wish you guys well. Love you guys. And I can't wait to continue the conversation, hopefully to see you in class either later the rest of this week or sometime in the coming weeks. And I can't wait to connect with you guys in 2 weeks, I believe. So be well, and until next time. Bye, you guys.